me and forevermore. I like to share that vintage dream and forevermore. We're living in that vintage dream.
I'm thirsty. He grinned as he stumbled through the bar. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. His breath really said it all. His car was parked behind the back door. Tuxedo black, El Camino, 1969. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. His filthy fingers said it all. Yeah. Give it all. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. His lazy eyes said it all. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. He said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. All right, give it to me, yeah. All right, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, he said, give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Baby, give me some love. Well, na 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 na.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, and as we have reached a grim milestone where now more Americans have died from COVID-19 than the Spanish flu of 1918, we see an absurdity of leadership demanding that we expose our children and our families to even more. Let's discuss that along with all of the other national politics that are occurring today. We begin with On the Clock with Georgia Ford.
current and former Black women officers are suing the DC Police Department, claiming racial and sexual discrimination. There are among them about 10 who are still on the force, saying that as they started to file professional complaints, there was a ton of retaliation. And assistant chief of police is among these women who are filing this class action lawsuit, as well as lieutenants and sergeants, totaling more than 300 years of experience. And not only are they seeking $100 million in damages, but they're also looking for the department to fix its EEO department and other divisions that handle these complaints. Then it is interesting to see women, Black women who are in the police force, stepping up and saying, we're no longer going to tolerate this discrimination. But what I can't help but think about is the many officers and, the few chiefs that I've spoken to who say that they're prioritizing diversity, especially after George Floyd. And here you have 10 Black women who are working on this force and saying that they have created a culture that does not include them.
Well, yes. I think that should be an understatement. Not only is this system not going to be representative of Black women, it's not going to be a system that's conducive or protective of Black women, because we're talking about policing agencies across this country. Now, this does not undermine the legitimacy and the validity of this lawsuit, right? Because right is right and wrong is wrong. If this empire told us that we're going to be equal, then they're going to have to do more than just diversity and inclusion kind of overtures. They're going to have to actually live up to their promise.
And I've had the opportunity to speak with quite a few Black officers. One thing I've learned in those conversations is just how complex that identity is. Can you imagine being a Black officer out at a Black Lives Matter protest and feeling torn? I've had officers tell me that there are times when they're patrolling these protests when they really want to be on the other side, when they feel drawn to their humanity, to their Blackness. And so to walk that fine line of being Black and blue, especially in this era, it is extremely complex. But to know that you have Black women who have committed to trying to make change from the inside out, who are being discriminated against. And when they're stepping up and saying, hey, there's something not right about the culture we have here, when they're speaking up, then they're being retaliated against. And so while you have so many people who have said, oh, we just need to reform these police departments, this is a part of that reform that people are talking about. But the question is, this is just in DC, and we know based on the investigations that have been launched by the Department of Justice, it's not just DC that's having these issues. But is this class action lawsuit really going to result in the reform that's needed to transform the culture in these police departments?
I don't think that it will be, but I am perfectly okay with the police department having to pay up. So while this may not change anything, I do think that they need to cut some checks because they have been well funded across every single city across this country. They are the most funded department in any city, period. Hands down. And so if they are now also out there continuing to carry out their original agenda, which was anti-Black, then they're going to have to pay for that. So run these distinguished women their money.
We have the mayor who has not commented on this class action lawsuit, as well as the current administration in that police department, basically saying because there is this pending lawsuit, they can't comment. So we probably won't hear from officials on this. But when you have that many officers, not just one, but 10 Black women suing for $100 million, it probably is likely that they're going to win. Lawyers would not take on a class action lawsuit like this unless there's substantial evidence to help them win their lawsuit. And so it will be interesting. I do intend to follow this class action lawsuit to see what type of evidence is presented in court, what instances have happened over the last 20 years. Some of these women have worked for this police department. What have they had to endure to substantiate these claims of both race and sexual discrimination? It is unfortunate that here we are in 2021, not only as a Black woman going into the workforce being discriminated against because you're Black, but also because you're a woman. So, it is just... And Georgia, but I'm not surprised, Ben. Not surprised.
Georgia, to that point, let's be clear. If they're trying to find evidence of anti-Blackness in the policing agency, I can't wait for the discovery period, the discovery phase. If they're trying to find anti-woman problems in the policing agency, I don't think that's going to be a problem, because we have to understand these are not some amoral institutions that these white men and, there's other people there, but let's predominantly white men get into this profession, and we expect them to somehow all of a sudden relinquish all of their biases and their bigotry and their sexism and their racism and leave it behind the badge. But it's still there every time they stop us. So much so that as Black officers have an issue with being unable to stand with Black Lives Matter in those moments, you have to understand that these white policing institutions stand behind the Proud Boys and stand in front of them and protect them. So that's a dilemma that white police officers don't have.
Well, to that point, Ben, I would be curious if any of the evidence that's going to be presented in this class action lawsuit is going to be from January 6th. Because this is the DC Police Department. And so how many of these Black women came across images of their colleagues taking photographs with those who were attacking our Capitol on January 6th? You got to remember, this is that same police department. And so it is also a result of what happened that day. I think those officers, we know some of them allowed folks to go in, opened up doors for them, took photos with them, participated, contributed to the attack on our Capitol. And to know that you had Black women who were upholding their oath, who were being good colleagues, having to deal with people who have those thoughts and those perspectives that type of behavior at our Capitol is okay.
Yeah. And Georgia, that's 100% the case, right? And so we have to be sure that we understand very, very clearly that the policing institutions across this country were never meant to serve marginalized groups. That includes, and especially includes, Black people, but most specifically Black women. And so I certainly hope that they have the best attorneys here. I don't think that this is going to change anything structurally, but like I said before, run these distinguished women their money.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, I know that you've been following some stories this morning as well.
Yes, we're following out of Florida the absurdity that is Governor DeSantis. While we have been negotiating with ridiculousness throughout this pandemic, and this is what I mean very specifically, we can't even get kids to wear masks in school because governors like DeSantis, he's making it impossible. Well, in this case, we're dealing with the last line of defense during this pandemic, which is quarantining someone who has either been infected by the virus or been exposed to the virus. And now Governor DeSantis says, hold on. Don't think for a second that you have the right to ask a student who is infected with COVID-19 to actually quarantine. Listen to this absurdity that is Governor DeSantis.
To take them out of school, that's a huge burden on the student. It's a huge burden on the families as well. And I think we've seen, as the doctor mentioned, you haven't seen a lot of data or studies to justify those types of draconian actions, and the places that have done a symptoms-based approach have had very similar outcomes to places that have done more draconian quarantine.
So he's referring to mandatory quarantines of infected or exposed students. And of course, we do know this is going to extend beyond just the students in school. This is going to be an argument made for anyone who's been infected. But now, Georgia, we can't wear masks. We can't mandate masks. We cannot mandate the vaccine. We cannot make our places of business require vaccines. But now we can't even ask people who are infected or have been exposed to quarantine, because that would be draconian to Ron DeSantis of the state of Florida.
Every single decision that I have seen DeSantis make with regards to COVID-19 has resulted in more people losing their lives. And so I don't know at what point the people of Florida are going to stand up and protect their families, protect their children, but it is ridiculous that this governor has the power to continuously make these decisions. And even here, we were just talking a group of parents about the protocols in the schools here in Minnesota. And so if you sneeze, they're sending you home. And in some instances, they're sending the entire class home. And while, yes, it may be an inconvenience, it has resulted in safer classrooms for not only students, but also the educators. And so when this is all said and done, I think DeSantis is going to have to answer to a lot of families. Right. And not just the children, but I think about that first week. There were 4 teachers who died going into those classrooms because he refused to mandate masks. And he's continuing to dismiss the health and safety of everybody who's walking into schools each and every day.
And the only thing that I could add to that, Georgia, because that's 100% correct, is that while it looks to us as if Ron DeSantis is being irrational and being unreasonable, he is literally carrying out his assignment, along with Tate Reeves of Mississippi, along with Brian Kemp of Georgia, along with Greg Abbott of Georgia, of Texas. We have Republican governors across this country who are aligned with this anti-vax / anti-mask movement. But here's the thing. The best way for us to understand this is that there are people in leadership who have been assigned to exacerbate this pandemic, because everything else makes no sense. Or rather, if we look at it through that lens, every one of these decisions makes sense. Because is it not the case that all of these governors are literally making the decisions that are going to maximize the amount of death and carnage from this pandemic? And because that is the outcome, we must conclude that is their intention, and we see them.
Yeah. And when you think about it also, Ben, it's like, well, who do you represent? Because if the people of Florida are okay with DeSantis saying, we don't have to have masks in school, we don't have to quarantine when someone's been exposed. If people aren't at his office demanding more from him, then obviously he is representing the views and the perspectives of his constituents, right? Mm-hmm. And when you reflect back to January 6th, maybe we're the outliers here. Maybe we're the few in the nation who feel like our children should be kept safe, that the science that has been brought forth by the CDC to protect them and to prevent them from contracting COVID-19 and dying, right? Maybe we're the outliers. Maybe he is representing the views and the thoughts of the parents who go to a school. It's just hard to believe that even the amount of teachers who have died here really believe and respect the decisions that he's making. When lives are at stake, it's really hard to think that there are constituents in the state of Florida who are okay with the decisions he's making, and in fact are happy and pleased. But what I realized, Ben, is even with the radio personality, the radio host, all of these prominent figures who have spent the last 2 years countering every single thing that the CDC has put out. What I have realized is what it truly takes for these people to get it is for them to get COVID-19.
Yeah. And in so many cases, they die. They have been committed to their ignorance, even unto death. And they are casualties. You know, they're calculated losses that white supremacy is willing to make, white supremacy and greed, because let's be clear, at the core of this is the fact that there are people who refuse to see a decrease in their quarterly profit margins, even if it costs us 1 million American lives. And so there is the greed incentive that's involved here, but underlying all of this is the amount of clear, intentional obtuseness and ignorance that these governors are feigning, but we see them. We know that you are out here serving your masters and you don't mind executing your constituents on their behalf.
This is going to be the most historic era in this country, because now that COVID-19 has surpassed the amount of deaths that our country saw during, 1918 Spanish flu, you pair that with the largest protest in American history, in global history, right? So when you start to add all of these things together, the sad thing is we're supposed to have better technology. We're supposed to have, more developed scientists and all of these different factors, all of these different things that were at our disposal to get it right. Yet here we are in the deadliest pandemic in American history.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I oftentimes beg people to really take a step back and look at this from a 30,000 foot, and you would realize what you said is 100% true, Georgia. This is a period in, I believe, world history that is going to be, it's an inflection point. Whether or not we have a future is dependent upon whether or not we allow these bad faith actors to continue to hold complete control over our society. We have sociopaths at the helm of the ship of humanity. And we see that they are faithful even unto death, but not necessarily their deaths, because I bet you that the people who are benefiting from the number of deaths that are increasing from COVID-19, I guarantee you they have their vaccine. I guarantee you have to wear a mask around them, and I bet you have to quarantine. But Ron DeSantis is saying, no, not in the state of Florida, you won't.
No, Ben, I know there have been a couple of other stories that you've been following this morning as well.
Yeah, there is a concerted effort, Georgia, around this country to really run up the scoreboard on behalf of white supremacy. I want to play this clip from Tucker Carlson as he discusses what's happening at the border. And I want us to be sure all of these things are interconnected. There may be at times debates amongst black people about something people may call the diaspora wars. But I want us to be sure every single person that is the child of the diaspora, we face a level of bigotry that is intentional about the dehumanization of black people across the globe. Here is the latest iteration of it as Tucker Carlson attacks, and his guest attacks, the people who are at the border seeking asylum that are being treated like animals by the United States government. Let's take a listen in.
These are economic migrants. They're rich enough for a plane ticket and a smartphone, but they're eager for the free health care, the education, the housing vouchers, food stamps, and much more that Joe Biden has promised them if they make it to the United States. So of course they're coming from Haiti and from the rest of the world. You would too. They'd be crazy not to come. The Biden administration plans to give them voting rights. That's in the works right now. The people you just saw on your screen could very well be choosing your president at some point down the road. This is a manufactured crisis. This is an attempt to change the demographics of the United States in order to give permanent power to the Democratic Party. That's all it is, no matter what they tell you.
The border is wide open. They've seen people crossing there for months. The Biden administration doesn't do anything, and this is their chance. So they said their lives are pretty good. I've seen many of them in the airports here as they're They're cycled through and distributed all over this country. They're well dressed and, very lovely people from what I can tell, well behaved, great families. What they don't look like is desperate. They don't look like, for example, Christians fleeing persecution from Nigeria who are actually in the midst of a genocide, who cannot even get asylum. The asylum laws are actually written for them. You know what the agents tell me? Several hundred of them, like around 300, escaped on Sunday morning. They just ran away. The conditions are miserable. They don't have enough food. They don't have any real facilities or security. It is an absolute unmitigated disaster. All those people in the Biden administration that came from the Open Society Foundation that we're not allowed to talk about, they don't want a border, which means no America, right? No countries. That's why patriotism and the flag and all of those things are so evil today, right? They're automatically white supremacy and nationalism. Never mind that you can be, an African country and be proud of your flag and your borders, or you can come from Kosovo. What you're seeing is part of a much bigger political picture.
Oh, that last part is absolutely correct. What you see is a part of a much bigger political picture. The second voice was that of Laura Logan. She was a guest on the Tucker Carlson program as they discussed the lack of desperation in the eyes of the asylum seekers at the border, Georgia. I think what they want is something analogous to the Game of Thrones, or rather Hunger Games. They want to see the desperation in the eyes of the Haitian people. But I happen to know quite a few Haitians, and their pride runs deep. You're not going to break them. White supremacy is nothing for them.
I thought it was interesting. Out of all of the images that circulated, Kamala Harris finally used her position to speak out. And I think the one thing I was disappointed about is the fact that it took something so extreme for her to speak up on behalf of Black people. And when you have Tucker Carlson and Laura, or should I say Karen, going out here and continuing to dehumanize our people. Let's be clear. America is a melting pot of immigrants from all over this world. And it absolutely disgusts me when you see all of these white leaders using their power, their influence, their social capital to try and say why we shouldn't allow more immigrants into this country. Right. If we were a country that cracked that far down on allowing people to come into this country, none of us would be here.
That's right.
None of us, except for the indigenous community.
That's right. Right. And then those of us who were forcibly brought here by those same colonizers that devastated the indigenous populations, right? There's a level of culpability that goes from the beginning of this country, even before 1776, perhaps all the way back to 1619. There's a level of culpability that this system has for all of this. And I would suggest that the last thing that we're going to do as Black people is to allow white supremacy to attack our cousins who were simply sent in a different direction on a different ship, but all of us torn from our same motherland. So I'm sorry for anyone who might be caught up with whether or not we should be fighting on behalf of Black immigrants. They Black, and I'm rooting for everybody Black.
Absolutely. Or you want to start talking about colonizers, the colonizers who have been going to Haiti or other countries, depleting it of its natural resources, leaving the people with nothing, and then want to act surprised when they show up at our doorstep because we've taken everything from their country and we've left them with absolutely nothing. It continues to happen throughout Africa. You have these white-owned corporations who are going into different countries across the globe, depleting it of its natural resources, paying pennies on the dollar and coming here and making millions. And then wonder why these countries remain underdeveloped.
I'm not sure who said this, but one of my comrades said the global South isn't underdeveloped, it's overexploited. Because there's so many, the riches that we enjoy in this country right now, every technology gets its resources from the global South, particularly in African nations. Let's be clear, right? If the wealth of this world was actually in the hands of the people underneath the ground from whence it came, White supremacy, I tell you, it's not so supreme after all. Georgia, we might need to get off this topic because they're playing with some stuff here, because it really, really does dig deep down into the question of our roots, right? Because if you mentioned it, like this is a melting pot, but black people have been here longer than most white people. Our generations go back much longer, right? The average white person in this country has been here maybe 3-4 generations, right? But black folks, because we were removed from our homeland, were brought here forcibly, and we've been here since before the founding. So, yeah, when we fight this fight on behalf of the Haitian asylum seekers at the border, they are asylum seekers who left Haiti in 2010. I want to make sure that we're clear, Tucker Carlson. They left Haiti in 2010 as a result of the earthquake and the mass displacement. And they found themselves in places like Chile, from whence they were able to come to the United States upon somebody's notification. One other thing I have to put in here. Somebody did tell all of these people that they should come to the border. That's who we need to ask where that person and that group are, because I tell you one thing, this is the exact type of red meat that conservatives love and live for, and I do not put it past a single one of them to have orchestrated this entire thing from the beginning.
Well, I want to know why they decided what went into the editorial decision to not use the images with the whips. Why didn't they use those pictures? Why didn't they use that video? Did you notice that?
Because they know because then they absolutely draw solidarity between the children of the diaspora, because you cannot look at an image of a white animal sitting atop a horse whipping a Haitian brother or sister and not see that all of us are survivors of either slavery or colonialism. And they know those images unify us. So they might want to make sure those images don't get out.
Yeah, I was like, wait, isn't this the same situation? Or aren't we talking about the same situation? Because when you turn on any other media outlet, this was the topic of conversation. But they didn't want to utilize these images to humanize the people of Haiti. And how do you defend that? How do you and it's so reminiscent of slavery. When I saw these images, and I think that's what struck a chord with Kamala, right? But it shouldn't take a white man whipping a black brother for you to stand up for your people and use your political and social capital on our behalf. That's what you were elected to do. It shouldn't take that. So although I'm glad that Kamala spoke up about how this was wrong and she denounced it, I'm disappointed that it had to be such a severe situation for her to speak up for our people.
And isn't that the case right now? Because if we ask ourselves the question, this country did not keep its promise after George Floyd, then what is it going to take for us to get the next inch in this fight for justice? How extreme does the next video have to be?
I guess we're going to have to be out here picking cotton before somebody's going to do something.
But for the record, let anybody come around here with a whip around anybody. I don't care if they are from Haiti, Jamaica, Nigeria. Bring a whip around a black person, and you don't. Georgia, I got to correct something. There was a black brother in that video, too. Somebody with a lot of melanin, and they did nothing but watch that white man whip our brothers. If you are in the presence of that tomfoolery and you don't go full Django Unchained, the ancestors would like to have a word with you, my friend.
Well, we are on the clock. Ben, what can people expect coming up in the next half hour?
Georgia, I don't know. You done awoken a lot of stuff in me this morning. All I can say is if y'all can stick around until after this break, we are going to let loose on all of these lies, from right-wing evangelical pastors to these propagandists on Fox News. All of that is coming up in the next half hour.
That and more on The Benjamin Dixon Show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, people. Y'all know who it is. You know the voice, you know the sound. It's your boy, James Bubba Williams, DJ Exclusive, is in the building. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Over here looking like a sailor today. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, y'all. Come on in, get situated, get settled, get your tea, your coffee, whatever it is you need to get your morning started, y'all. Happy Thursday. Let's get it done, y'all. Good morning. Shout out to Georgia Fort. Looking good, Georgia. Good morning, girl.
He's a man, and he's taking it to the streets, just doing what he's able. Anything to provide for his family and put food on the table. It's cold outside, but the package is hot. It's gotta make a pickup, but don't pick up. Stay smooth and make it back to the spot.
Remember vividly, etched in my mind like filigree. Visions of a gritty street, living so my kid can eat. I'm chilling deep.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, y'all. I see y'all in the chat room. Good morning, everybody.
The message clear my head like antihistamines. Do my job, consider me the man of mystery, the secret agent. And you're the boss is known to be impatient. She need the package. She says it's so close she can taste it. I saw the look in her eyes. I was unsurprised. Ain't nothing
that's crazy. I think it's like 57 here, y'all. Y'all talking about the degrees in the chat. Yeah, it's literally cold outside today.
In the driver's seat and mash the gas pedal. Blast off across the asphalt like NASA shuttles. Cars in front of me, I pass a couple. Then check the rear view to see who's creeping behind me. Eyes in all directions, I'm never stepping blindly.
He's a man, and he's taking it to the streets, just doing what he's able. Anything to
Good morning, everybody. Roll the dragon on and on. Lily, good morning. Best techno ever. Lee Nat. Hey, what's going on? Sister Kareen, Shelby Hall, Brenda Johnson. Brenda, why are you mad today? Six Dragon Daddy, good morning. Courtney the SLP, Brother Chuck Diesel. Nicholas Rodriguez, good morning. The Pioneer, good morning. Melanie Dennis, what's going on? Lisa Noel, good morning. Love Life, good morning. Juanita, Courtney the SLP. Air Hustler, good morning.
Only denied because the homie knows me.
That's the two-party win. Boondocks, Dragon, Black Magic, Afraid Not, Brother Tiger, good morning, y'all.
Now I'm back on the street, bag full of heat and
Republicans, good morning.
And I'm gnashing my
Brother
teeth. I feel the hunger too,
Franco, good
but I
morning,
stay
y'all.
loyal. Gotta get
Shout out everybody that's on this morning. Esther Brochin, good morning. Shout out my sister from another mission who's watching right now. Hey, Rebecca, good morning. Love you, sister.
Crazy. I make it back safely.
It's Throwback Thursday, y'all, so this is how we do.
It's that tasty.
Elizabeth Lonzo, I appreciate you.
Slide to the right, rock with me, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, slide to the left, slide to the right, rock with me, baby, we can do this all night.
Photogenic, good morning. Rain J, good morning.
Come on, hey, slide to the left.
Syntax, good morning to you. Truth the Dragon, look, he's coming in, y'all. I gotta say hey to him. Good morning.
Come on, come on. Yeah, slide to the left, slide to the right. Rock with me, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, my hand is wrapped around your waist. I love the way that you be twirling to the bass.
Real quick, I gotta drop the music for this one. Happy birthday and special shout out to Miss Patricia Palumbo in the chat room. Patricia, we love you. Happiest of birthdays to you. Happy birthday. Patron party tomorrow night, so we definitely have to turn up for you for your birthday again. Happy birthday, Patricia Palumbo. Y'all drop them happy birthdays from me, y'all.
To the left, slide to the right. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, slide to the left, slide to the right. Rock with me, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on, come on, come on. Hey, slide to the left, slide to the right. Rock with me, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, slide to the left.
Chuck, these are talking about sliding to a lap, sliding to a lap. Chuck, you stupid, brother.
Come on, come on, come on.
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah, everybody's smoking all the greenery. Yeah, close the match 'cause they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly, I know.
Good morning, Evergreen. Good morning. Shay, good morning to you. Justice Jaconis, good morning. Brother Taj Newby, good morning,
It can
y'all.
all be worse. I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Pills to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you from the inside out. So right now,
Brother Kev Z, what's going on, Kev?
I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time. It's my time to
Good morning,
run it out.
Good morning, Mama Daddy. Love y'all.
Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time. It's my time to run it out. It's your time. Oh. Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny. And you can see whatever from behind me, but I'm
J&A
still
Ward,
fly.
good morning.
I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly. I'm still fly.
Shout out Roller Dragon. What's going on, Roller Dragon?
It could all be worse. I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Who's to make the man, but that boy is gonna kill you.
Y'all do me a favor in the chat room. Y'all tell Rebecca she already got her shout out. She was late. I said good morning, my sister from another Mr. Rebecca Azor, who is streaming from her living room right now. Girl, if you was watching, you would have heard. Hey, Rebecca, good morning.
Nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time. It's my time to ride it. I'm young. I'm free. Can't nobody take
Jill Potts, good morning, Jill.
and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time. It's my time to ride it
Bryce
out.
Blackwell, what's going on? Good morning, brother. What's going on? Good morning, Bryce. Good morning, Tyra.
If you're on the bus, say yeah. Yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah.
Good morning.
If you gotta walk, say yeah. Yeah. Everybody's going somewhere. Yeah. Young or old, I really don't care. Yeah. Life has never really been fair. Yeah. So put your fist up in the air. Yeah. Say yeah. I'm young. I'm
Good morning,
free.
Mama.
Can't nobody take me here.
Rebecca trying to go run the street. She needs to get her ass on camera. But it's okay, Rebecca. Good morning.
It's my time. It's my time to ride. I'm young.
Right. Run right up to that counter, Dwayne.
Can't nobody take me here
Stand,
and now.
Susan, good morning. That is
It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is.
It's your time.
It's time for my brother from another mother, y'all. Let's go ahead and get it. Get her done. It's time for Benjamin Dixon, man. Y'all stay tuned. Let's go.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back. It is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. I almost messed up there. DJ Exclusive, my brother from another mother. How are you this morning, man?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. How about you?
I'm listening as you're having to deal with Rebecca outside the club. She tried to get in, can't even get in the club this morning.
Can't even get in. Gotta act like a bouncer. Dang.
We need security. Chuck Diesel and all the moderators. Y'all put Rebecca. No. Good morning to Rebecca in the audience. We're trying to institute some self-care and give everybody at least one day off. Not me though. I don't think I get one just yet. But
And apparently not me either, because I had to work yesterday too. So
that's.
He set himself up for that one, y'all. Y'all know he set himself up for that one.
I love the universe will always set stuff up for the perfect punchline. Yeah, man. Thank you for coming yesterday, bro. It's not the same without you, but go ahead.
I was about to say, man, no problem. You know, I'll be here whenever, always.
Yeah, man. And I was going to say, man, I'm just listening to the music, Doc. Like, high key, I think I was a musician before anything else. Before I did any of these other ventures, I was a musician. And just the music alone that you've been able to find since we've been doing this, man, has been like fire. So we shall not tell our resources, but the best music that you never heard before is right here with DJ Exclusive.
Okay, amen to that. And y'all think season 1 was something? Just wait till season 2, man. Because the songs I played yesterday, man, I was just like, okay, yeah. I'm not gonna tell y'all where it came from. Not gonna tell you what songs they are, but just know that season 2 is coming.
10 toes deep. Let's go with. I have no segue other than to say, let's go with this clown, Ted Cruz from the state of Texas. Eddie Monster is how I refer to him. He is also the man that allowed Donald Trump to talk about his wife, call his wife ugly, and then Ted Cruz proceeds to kiss Donald Trump's butt and kiss the ring of Donald Trump and made phone calls and promoted Donald Trump. So I just want everyone to understand the caliber of man that we're dealing with in the form of Ted Cruz. Well, yesterday he thought he had a got you question for a black woman. Now, it was an entire panel of people, but, you know, of course, my eyes went up with the sister. He thought he had a got you question when he asked about the racist nature of the voter laws in across the country. And this sister brought it right back to the state of Texas. Caution as we watch this clip. Don't run up on a black woman and think you're going to come back. We'll talk about that after you watch this clip.
The question for each of the 5 witnesses. In your judgment, are voter ID laws racist?
So it depends. One thing we have to stop doing is treating all voter ID laws as the same.
Well, I want to move quickly, so it depends is your answer?
Yes, that's my answer.
What voter ID laws are racist?
Apologies, Mr. Cruz, your state of Texas, perhaps?
Okay, so you think the entire state of Texas is racist. What about requiring an ID to vote is racist?
That's pretty reductive. I'm not saying the entire state of Texas is racist.
You just said my state of Texas, so you tell me what about the Texas voter ID laws is racist?
So the fact that the voter ID law was put into place to diminish the political power of Latinos with racist intent, and it had been found to have
You're
racist
asserting
intent.
that. What's your evidence for that?
The federal district court that first resolved the constitutionality of Texas's voter ID law.
Okay, so your view is voter ID laws are racist, Mr. Yang?
I agree with Professor Tulsa. Voter ID laws can be racist.
Okay, that's
other
two.
context.
Mr. Science?
There are some voter ID laws that are racially discriminatory in intent.
How about in practice? In intent, fine, you say there's some racist with a malevolent intent lurking in the back of their mind. As a practical matter, when I go to vote, they ask me for my ID. I pull out my ID, I show it to them, I vote. Is that racist?
If the law that requires you to do that was motivated by racially discriminatory intent
what about the
under
effect?
our
Set
Constitution.
aside intent. Set aside intent. I'm asking about the effect.
Yes, in effect, I think that there are discriminatory effects from a number of voter ID laws.
I'm going to give the witness a chance to answer the question. Go ahead, Mr. Sine.
Yes, in effects, I think many voter ID laws are discriminatory. And in design, they are designed to have that effect.
Now, Sister Franita Tolson, the first professor that you heard, she's the law professor and vice dean at, hang on, because I want to make sure I give her a full pedigree, at the University of Southern California, Gould School of Law. I was glad to hear the other 2 gentlemen confirm what Sister Tolson said. But, Doc, she said what she said. It's racist, Ted Cruz. She said it the first time. And she made it clear it is those are the laws in your state, Ted. Those are the quintessential examples of racist voter ID laws. James, you've been here. You've seen the conversation we've had with Black Voters Matter, Cliff Albright, with all of the different politicians here. We had some state legislators from Georgia, from Mississippi, from Florida. Mm-hmm. All of us understand that these voter laws are intended to make sure that Black people don't go back and do what we did in November and what we did in January, which was save this democracy. They want to make sure that we can't vote, but then they want to pretend as if we don't know no better, like we can't see something racist when it smacks us in the face.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. And y'all see he had to go to the, hate to say it like this, had to go to the white man at the end in order to prove his point and think that he can get the right answer. No, my brother, these are all certified people up here on this panel, bro. It doesn't matter which one you go to. They all going to say the exact same thing. So you thinking that you're going to get a different answer from all three of them? No, sir. Stupid. Can't stand it, man.
Cancun Teddy is what we call him. He's the one that ran over.
Teddy. Stupido.
The one who went to Texas, or rather he went to Cancun during the middle of the deep freeze where children actually died while he went on vacation. And Ted Cruz, the only thing that matters to him is whether or not people think that the work that he's doing, which is clearly racist, Ted, he's like, well, don't call it racist. What's up with these folks who want to be as racist as they want to be, but get so upset when people call you out for being what you clearly want to be known for? Like, if you want to be known as a racist.
Dang, Ben. You said that, brother. That's absolutely right. Like, you come off as when you get called out on it. Oh, now you want to be upset. Okay, we see.
Cause you put out what you want to be known as, James. You put out a brand, you put out an image. What you see there is, whether you know it or not, is a very carefully crafted image that Ted Cruz is trying to convey. I don't know what it is, but hey, there it is. He's groomed the way he wants you to see him being groomed. He's dressed the way he wants you to see him being dressed, and he is advocating for the things that he wants you to know he's advocating for. So the question remains, if you're a racist, don't be mad when we call you a racist. Simple as that.
Simple as that. And I'll tell you who he looks like. He's starting to look like Trump Jr. a little bit. I'll tell you what he's really doing in the after party. That's an after party conversation.
After party conversation, patreon.com/like it or not, or patreon.com/the BPD show. I want to, speaking of presenting yourself as you want to be seen, let's talk about church. Let's talk about religion. I've done my best to make sure that over the years I've been doing politics, James. Right. Doing politics for at least the last 10 years straight, hardcore. But I know false prophets when I see them because I grew up in some sanctified churches. You know what I mean? I grew up around the way with some powerful preachers like, C.L. Lambert down in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and people who, really tarried at the altar. Like, I got some church roots, James, and I know some false prophecy when I see it. I want you to take a look at someone, I know, Kenneth Copeland and Jesse Duplantis. Yeah, I know them. I want you to listen to this conversation as they're discussing why they need private jets. Now, I want you to also understand that this Kenneth Copeland, and at the beginning of the pandemic, he was the one who blew and said, COVID, be gone. Now, I am not coming against Kenneth Copeland just for the sake of coming against Kenneth Copeland. I need people to see the thread, what Anthony Galloway would call the tapestry, right? There is a tapestry that has a connecting thread that goes all the way from the COVID denial to the anti-mask, insanity that we're dealing with, to the anti-quarantine move that we're seeing. And it all stems from this cabal of religious leaders who give spiritual credibility to the very worst in humanity. I offer you Kenneth Copeland and Jesse Duplantis. Let's take a look.
The time has come for ministries, particularly traveling ministries, to have some other method of travel other than the airlines. That's right. Yes, sir. Agreed. You get into this situation, we're not going to let you fly unless you're vaccinated. Well, to me, that's the mark of the beast.
Now, that voice was Kenneth Copeland. And the way he finessed this thing, I want to play it one more time. The reason you're getting ready to write a check and send it to them at this clearly not socially distanced telethon that they're having. Somebody's got, I don't know if the Holy Spirit is in there, but I guarantee you COVID-19 is in there. I want you to listen to him as he seamlessly weaves together why the vaccine being the mark of the beast is why you need to write him a check to help them get new airlines. One more time for the people in the back.
The time has come for ministries, particularly traveling ministries, to have some other method of travel other than the airlines.
That's right. Yes, sir. Agreed.
You get into this situation, we're not going to let you fly unless you're vaccinated. Well, to me, that's the mark of the beast.
So basically, you're saying that because you don't want to get vaccinated, you think that you can buy you a private jet to fly around?
Yeah. That's it. Like
the level of absurdity,
bro. I mean, it's right there in front of you, right? They've created a problem, and now your solution to the problem that they've created is to buy them a jet. Not for you to go get vaccinated, because the vaccine is the quote-unquote mark of the beast. James, man, you know, these people run around the country and they swear they're coming in the name of the Lord. And man, they are doing the bidding of their masters here on earth. Like, they getting money. They securing the bag, bro. You remember that guy last week we talked about, the one that said they're going to raise $100 million and they were going to keep 20% of it for their salaries?
Yeah.
Man, these people really want us to believe that what they're trying to sell us is like the loving God. We love you. But at the end of the day, they're trying to get the bag. Here's the next one. This is continuation. This is participating in the Victory-thon that was put on by Kenneth Copeland. We just got through listening to him. Here is Jesse Duplantis, and he's bragging about being a multimillionaire with his own private plane while telling viewers that they can speed up the return of Christ by donating money.
I honestly believe this, that the reason why Jesus hadn't come is because people are not giving the way God told them to give. You see what I'm saying? Wow. I mean, when you understand it, you can speed up the time. I was on television. He said, I heard you was a millionaire. I said, that's not right. That's not true. He said, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. Multi. Now, add that to it and you'll be all right. Oh, he couldn't handle that. He like to have had a fit. And I said, you mess with me, I'll buy this station and I'll fire you. Yeah, oh, he didn't like that, then he did. You know, that was a little fleshy, but it felt good. Yeah. Just did. You know, I'm not saying it's wrong. So I realized that I will not move people emotionally to give.
Right. No.
I'm going to have people move according to the Word of God. What is God saying to you? And I really believe this. If people would call this number and put this victory all over the world on every available voice, every available outlet, God, the Father, he would say, Jesus, go get him.
Yeah.
Because you see, he wants to see us as much as we want to see him. You see what I'm saying? And so what has hindered all these things is it's because people are not doing in the financial realm, because we live in an economic world, what God's called them to do. You know, he's called us to do that. So I don't have a problem with giving. I don't have a problem with receiving. It doesn't make any difference.
I bet you
I
don't.
just made up my mind. I want Jesus to come. Now, they said, do you
just want Jesus to come?
You can have it the day after the rapture.
Not today, Jay.
Jesse is going to heaven.
Sorry, bro. He said it. You know what? Take it away, Ben.
Hey, listen.
The Lord knew what he was doing because my camera just went out, Ben.
Hey, the universe, God, whoever said no, not what you're not going to do, James.
Okay, listen, give me 1 second. Okay.
Full transparency. I know Kenneth Copeland and Jesse Duplantis. I know them not personally, but I know their ministries well. I grew up on them as an extension of the Creflo Dollar Ministries. Yes. Back somewhere around 2000, I was a really huge supporter of Creflo Dollar because there was some good messaging back there about renewing your mind, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I only say that to say I know these guys. I know their ministry. I know their doctrine. And to see them seamlessly align this moment in American and world history, in the history of humanity, where nearly 700,000 Americans alone not to mention the people across the globe who are suffering because they can't get access to the vaccine. At a time where this many Americans have died because of the absurdity of the vaccine, the anti-vax movement. And I'm trying to tread very delicately here to be mindful of the people who are vaccine hesitant versus those people who are actively involved in making sure that we stay in this pandemic. For these guys to align their faith and their pocketbooks with the suffering of this present moment, they're false prophets. And I know they claim to be coming in the name of the Lord, man. And I might be a prodigal son of the church. You know what I mean? I may not have a whole lot of authority, but I know false prophecy when I see one. And I know when people are using the power of their influence, no matter what kind of influence, whether they be political leaders or whether they be social media influencers or whether they be pastors, they're using their platform to gaslight you out of your money. So let's call a thing a thing. James, is your camera back on? Okay. Now, now the Lord said, let the shenanigans begin. No.
Right. Man, but that's crazy. It's just like y'all are up here. Y'all are really, that's the path that y'all are really going down. See, stuff like that doesn't occur in the black church because, you know, we tired and our pastors and preachers are going to say, hey, get you.
You sure about to say, James, we could have made it out of this segment and only have attacked. We almost made it out of this segment.
They ain't that bad. What they saying? The reason why he ain't came is because he ain't get enough money.
I don't think
I'm like, come on, man.
I done been in
Right.
1 or 2 where it been like, hey, we need $40. If you ain't got $40, you take 20 and get with your neighbor, and y'all put together 40, and we'll be standing up here for 45 minutes until we hit this number we got to hit. So
those are facts. So I take that back.
We could have made it through this segment with only having to had criticized the white evangelical church, but now, James, you're going to make me have to call out the entire prosperity gospel here in a minute.
It's okay. We're going to move on. Nope. Because see, what these people are doing, they're pushing that rhetoric that, never mind. I tried to rescue it. It's okay.
Listen. I think we've had enough of them for today. I would tell you that much because we have a daily. There's a never-ending daily stream of powerful evangelical pastors who provide opportunity. Listen, James, play some music. Take us to break because I really want to think. I really want to ask them, particularly like Greg Locke and the rest of these clowns out here. Do y'all really think if they really believe in God, do they think God is going to let this go unanswered? I feel a Mount Carmel moment coming, and it's time for them to shut up or put up or shut up, flip it and reverse it. James, take us a break.
You think? Hold on, before James takes us to break, you think Greg Locke will come on for a debate?
Well, he already owes me one, so whether he comes on or not, we might have to pull up and make sure we have it.
Ooh,
like it or not,
or not.
Hey, brother Mac. See you soon.
We miss you, brother.
Captain. Oh, Captain.
Captain, my captain. All right, y'all. David wants me to introduce Captain, no captain. Captain, my captain. All right. Real quick, we're going to do a clip right now to play here. I'm not sure what the clip is because I'm a little lost, but Dwayne, play that clip for me, sir.
The image of one agent appearing to use horse reins, potentially as a whip.
This is not who we are. That's not who the Biden-Harris administration is.
Well, lawmakers pleading with the Biden administration to immediately extend the eviction moratorium.
It's not how we are. It's not who we are as a nation.
This is no place for children, crammed into pods, one pod housing more than 400 boys.
That's not who we are.
Billionaires in the United States have increased their total net worth $637 billion during the COVID-19 pandemic so far.
Nobody should be using this situation for financial gain. That's not who we are.
Tonight, the nation remains divided over vaccines.
We have an obligation in the United States of America to live up to who we are.
Homeland Security has a warning for the country due to a heightened threat environment across the United States.
This is not who we are. It's not who we are. Who we are. Who we are. Who we are. Who we are.
It's not who we are.
What the hell was that? Like Peter Griffin said. What the hell was that? Not who we are. All right, JoJo.
Get it, girl. You know I'm impatient. Don't keep it away, girl. It's been too long.
Right underneath the follow the white rabbit.
Girl, I'm trying to taste it. You know what I like. Don't get freaky in the night. When she hit the room, you know it's on sight. And she all on my type. And you know I don't like to wait, no. But she look good. You ain't gotta stand in the mirror with your makeup on, cause you know that take way too long. I just want that right now, girl. You Uber outside.
This looks like one of my favorite times.
You want it right now.
Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up next. Make sure that you stay tuned. We got more coming up next, y'all.
Take too long, don't take too long. I've been waiting on you to pull up, girl. I know you got a man, but he can stay at home. He don't need to be around when I'm taking you down. Damn, that drink too strong. We could roll up. Now, baby, just hold up. Say you got a friend, bring it in. We can do what you wanna. I know you need it, not to sound conceited, but girl,
One Lost Spirit, what's going
I don't wanna
on?
wipe you up, no. But she look good. You ain't gotta stand in the mirror with your makeup on, cause you know that take way too long. I just want that right now, girl. You
There was a request to slow it down. Okay.
You want it right now. Want it right now. Don't take too long.
You know what?
You want it right now. Want it right now. Don't take too long.
You know what goes good with this right now? You ready for it? I think I'm ready for it too. Let's hit it. Here you go. Yeah. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. Get your coffee and tea and drink whatever it is you need. It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, it's starting now. Oh, like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not. Rebecca said she talked about she all day yesterday. Oh, Rebecca Azor is coming out. You know she got a story for us. Oh, Benjamin is coming through. That's my dog, all through and through. Oh, I am your DJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am. I stay in the chat room. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, it's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Like it or not.
No,
Good morning,
James, no.
Good morning, y'all.
Oh, man.
Oh, see, this is what happens when y'all leave me to my own devices. Okay,
James, I am laughing so hard over here. I am like, I need a tissue somewhere, man. Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it.
It is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. Rebecca Azor has the day off. But she's sitting up in the chat room just making all the comments. James, tell your girl to go home, go somewhere and actually rest.
Right. Go run, girl. Go run. Go run somewhere. Go run up the mountain.
that racist mountain. What's she over there by Stone? What's the name of that? The racist mountain down there? Man, you see, this is how you know I'm not original.
Stone, Kennesaw, Blue Ridge. I mean, you want me to go on? This is a whole lot of them.
and the list goes on. Well, there you go. So,
and the list goes on.
there it is. Listen, I want to start, James, with the clip that we have been, we've just been missing for some time. Now, listen, the musical roots of this show, they're deep. They go very, very deep. But I am very proud to say that I knew before anybody else, I think before anybody else, that Lil Nas X was about to be huge. When I heard Old Town Road before it even got big. Most people don't know that there's a version of Old Town Road that never had Billy Ray Cyrus on it, right? So the original one that was streaming, and it was pretty popular. It had a couple million streams. That said, I've been a fan of Lil Nas X since day one, square one. Here's a clip. James, do you want to introduce it? Because it's the guy on here. We got, or I could say less and just play the clip.
Yeah, let's just play the clip.
We have all of this going on for the last couple of
this is not it.
20, 30 years.
This is part of it.
Wait, this is part of it?
The biggest churches. Never have Christians' children been more taken over by homosexuality than they are right now. If I asked each and every one of you to stand that has a son, daughter, or a niece, or a nephew, or a brother or sister that is gay, half of you would stand up in this building, because it is a demonic spirit that's come after our seed. And the church that God is raising up in this hour is going to have authority over that. Listen, we are not going to tell them they're going to hell. We're not going to tell them they're scum. We're going to tell them that they're born of God, that God will set them free, change them by the power of the Holy Ghost. Put them on our platforms to sing our God is an awesome God by the power
David,
of the
we're going to fight.
We're gonna discuss a few things about Mr. Man right there, because that's those words you talking about. God will set you free and deliver you. I'm already set free and I'm already delivered, Mr. Man. You are not gonna tell me how to live my life because you choose to follow a book that was written thousands and thousands of years ago. You only pick and choose the pieces out of the book that you want to display and read. So what you're not gonna do is tell me how I'm gonna effing feel uncomfortable, because I am already delivered and I'm already safe and free in the love of my God and my universe. So you can go to hell. And you had a rainbow button shirt on, you little gay ass. Everybody know, most of y'all people in this pulpit, y'all be acting like y'all straight and all holy, but y'all be the main one in the pulpit getting your penis sucked by another member of the church choir. So what you're not gonna do is come up here and tell us how to behave and how to act. Yes, I got half the family in here might be gay. God damn it, what does that mean? Not a damn thing, because it ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm about to say something else. I had to remember what channel I was on.
wait a minute. Man, and I appreciate you. You know what? I want to acknowledge something. James, I appreciate your restraint. All right? And I know that you are restraining yourself because you know my mama watching. So I appreciate the restraint. But that don't matter in terms of what's right, man. You know, because, you know, number one, David, we gonna fight. My producer slid that in there. He slid that in there. And that's fine, because let's have that conversation, because both of us come from the church. And let's not even talk about, you know, the Catholic Church. That's not, because I'm telling you, man, hey, two consenting adults, do whatever the hell you want to do. Be consenting and be adults. Meanwhile, you got preachers like this. I want to know what's in your catalog, my brother. Let's talk about your proclivities. Don't act like you ain't got none, because I run with the best of them, and I've got my own. So how about we sit down and talk about your shortcomings, and I'll share mine. And then we'll talk about somebody being a disgrace to God. James?
Hey, it is not only in the Clear Person's church right here on the stage. It's the same thing in the black churches as well, too. Come
on, man.
That's why we straight up ignore y'all. That's why we have our own churches to go to, so we have to listen to y'all hate and y'all bigotry. We don't need it. We don't need it.
Now, James, now you do know I am evolved, because like growing up, and I can't blame it on my daddy, because my daddy was never like this. I think it just was part of, heck, every part of the culture. I remember one of my favorite movies, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And I went back and watched it, and then they dropped the F word in the middle of it. And I was like, wow, it really was a different time back then. The culture that I grew up in back then, I was clearly and properly homophobic. All right. So I want that to be clear. I wasn't born woke, such as that is even a thing. What I'm saying is that if we cannot recognize in and of ourselves how we have become the oppressor to a different community inside of our own, then we've hardened our hearts.
Yeah. And Ben, you know what? It takes a while, because what I noticed, people from, our generation, there was a difference. Because, me coming up, especially in college, I wasn't comfortable in my gayness yet. I wasn't secure in it. Everybody knew that. It wasn't until years after I already been in school that it was just like, oh, okay, I really don't care. Now my mama know, I don't care who know. So I'm good to go. But a lot of, and no offense, but a lot of straight men, that's how they feel. They don't know, because I think there's this mentality that I guess the gay is gonna rub off on some of them.
Man, they afraid. Man, they afraid. Listen. In the after party, I will share a story of the one fight that I won, and perhaps I'm looking at it now that maybe I was the bad guy in that fight. So we'll talk about that in the after party. But I'm being honest with you, it's cause we afraid y'all might touch us. We afraid you might actually like it, James.
Yeah. No comment. I ain't gonna say nothing.
That's what they're afraid of.
I honestly think that's what it is,
James,
man.
I never knew you were gay in college. Never.
Right. Never.
We were in some pretty tight situations. No pun intended.
Yeah. What the hell? Yes, we were.
I gotta put it out here. We were over at the beach, Daytona Beach. You, me, and our friend, God bless her. What? No, wait. Was she with us that day when we had to run from those white supremacists?
You know what? I think she was. I mean, man, we used to stay over there so much, especially that summer. Man, we got in so much. That summer, bro.
And I never knew you were gay, man.
Exactly.
There I was trusting you with my life. And all the while, but then I was mad. Now, a couple months ago, I was mad because you said you weren't even interested in me.
Oh, that's Dwayne wasn't here when we had the conversation. Dwayne, Ben was big, man. I said, Ben, I wasn't interested in you then, bro. I'm sorry.
I was like, wait, what's wrong with me then? Like, cause I'm like, so which is it, Ben? Which is it? Let's be real. Now, are you afraid they might touch you? Or are you upset? Because my boy wasn't even interested in me. Damn, man.
Like, damn, what's wrong with me?
Look, what's Dwayne, I told him, like, man, I said you're cute now. You grew into your look, so you're cute now. But I mean,
But check this out, y'all. Me and James, and I don't know if we should say her name, but our dear friend, our Wildcat, our fallen Wildcat, no longer with us. But we were coming back from the beach, and we saw somebody from Bethune-Cookman in a car driving. We were walking. And so we shouted. We're like, hey, hey, hey. And they zoomed on by and paid us no mind.
Paid it.
Was this biker club full of white supremacists who thought we were trying to yell at them and thought we were trying to start a fight with them. And they said, who you yelling at? N-word. Hard E-R, Rebecca.
Hard E-R.
we took off running. Now, don't let our weight fool y'all, because we were conditioned in the mightiest of bands, the pride of Bethune-Cookman University.
Yeah.
So we in good shape. We haul it. We get ahead of them because they all, tired and drunk. We cut tail into a graveyard, a cemetery, and we hid in the cemetery, all behind this big little mausoleum kind of thing, until we were clear, and until we were sure that we were no longer in threat of just dying. So, James, we've been in some tight situations, no pun intended. And even you mean to tell me, even in that moment when I showed you I could keep up with the best of them, you still wasn't attracted to me. I mean, Jada.
I'm sorry, man.
Jada, I appreciate that you like me. Somebody does.
And Rebecca, you shut the hell up. You ain't here, Rebecca. Stay out the slack. Somebody should have heard the story a million times. It's okay. You're going to hear it again.
Oh, man.
The million
what time is it? Who's here? Who's not here? Oh, man. We got to get Mama Gwen back on the show, man. I know she got all the stories.
Man, we ain't going to do that.
Oh, man.
She ain't got it. She just said in the chat, Bubba never told me that story. I would have been so upset. I don't know, Mama.
We were in
you can't tell you. Mama, I ain't tell you a lot of stuff from college.
I ain't gonna tell y'all the story how that one time I did get picked and ended up walking back 30 miles in Daytona Beach, and my homie Henry had to come and rescue me. We got some stories. If you want access to them, patreon.com/like it or not. We forgot there's an entire B-side to this whole thing. Jason Whitlock. That's the whole reason why we started this. David, you're fired, but play the part of Jason Whitlock.
We just saw Joy Reid do this to you, Ben Shapiro, Laura Ingraham yesterday. Just because, and the way she framed it up was mind-blowing to me. She says that, Laura Ingraham and conservatives, they object to the profanity in hip-hop music. They object that Lil Nas X, a guy that came out making music for little kids, has now pivoted to making music videos with him going to hell to give lap dances to the devil. Anybody that objects to that is somehow seen as a racist, an out-of-control Trump supporter, and they're the evil people we have to stop. And I'm like, are you kidding me, Joy Reid? What type of person, rational human being, would go on television and defend what Lil Nas X is doing, the way he's went out and purposely captured young fans and now has pivoted to a music that's promotes sexual promiscuity, promotes satanic values, and Joy Reid's defending this and calling you and Ben Shapiro and Laura Ingraham the bad people. She is absolutely nuts and crazy. She's controlled by the Alphabet Mafia.
A troll by the Alphabet Mafia? You heard that crap too, Dwayne? First of all... Let me hydrate.
The best part is going to be,
yes.
And while he hydrates, go to patreon.com/like it or not so that you can get access to our unfiltered reaction to these shenanigans. My
patron party on Friday.
Patron party on Friday night. My brother. Let the Lord lead you.
Who the hell are you? We don't care about you. You big mad. For what? Because you ain't seeing wet coochie on the screen.
Oh, wait. My mama watching.
And all of that.
My mama watching.
I'm just saying, because it's always a problem when... that's what I'm going to show you how long it is. It's been in a few minutes,
he looks a little bit of, from one big fella to another, Jason looks exceedingly hungry. And I'd say that as a big man myself. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
You stupid. But for real, though, this man has no weight. You have no ground. People get mad because we're expressing ourselves, and we're able to express ourselves like we want to. Everybody else can express themselves like they want to. So why not? Why can't we do it? Because here it is. Lil Nas X, he gets talked about and says all of this stuff. So why not make the music that he wants to make? NWA did it. Taylor Swift does it. Miley Cyrus does it. Lil Nas X can sure the F do it as well too, and not care about who you think's, because it's going to get millions. It's going to make millions. He's still going to be famous while you still on a punk ass news channel not making no money, being broke and replacing your hairpiece. Okay, let's show the picture of how he used to look beforehand. Okay, because now he acting like he want to be big and bad. Look at you. Look at you. I can't argue with you.
Wait a minute.
You got a whole ass hairpiece on your hair, bro. And granted, y'all, that picture is a month apart. I want y'all to know. Okay, like it or not.
Now I got to make one correction. He is getting paid. He is getting paid because
well, I ain't watching his punk butt, so it's all good.
Check me out. White supremacy pays very well, and I do want to draw that connection, that connecting thread. Listen, I will say this, and if I don't say this, my mama gonna have some words with me after. Old Town Road, man, I knew that boy was gonna change the world. The cinematography of all the videos that he has done since has been magnificent, but it's above my pay grade. It's above my the lap dance for Lucifer was above my pay grade. I'm gonna digress, but I'm gonna tell you though, James, because of my uncomfortability, if I'm gonna make up a word, it's gonna be that one. Don't mean it should impinge on that young man's ability to express himself the way everybody else is free to express themselves in this country.
Absolutely. And like I said, it was a reason he did that, because everybody wants to talk about him being gay, and he says Old Town Road was for kids. It was not. It was a song. Just because you let your child listen to it, oh, now it's a song for kids, can you let your child listen to it? No. He even said some cuss words in the dang on song as well too. So you saying the music was for kids, and now you want to pivot and talk about all this other stuff? Bruh, that song was not for kids. That song was not for kids.
The label tried to push it for it to be a kid's song. They threw the on the song. What's his name? Mason, whatever. They threw him on there. The label was trying to push
for the remix
for the kids. Yep. Yeah, that wasn't from him.
Exactly.
The man tried to tell y'all. He said I had sparkling rainbows on the cover of my album. Right? He said, I got the horses in the back. He said, I was trying to make it as clear as I could to you. And he said, because it wasn't clear, let me say it very directly. And check this out, y'all. How many times are we going to do this in our community? We've been doing this for the longest. Some of the people who had the greatest revelation about our liberation came from the LGBTQIA community. Make no mistake about it. What could have James Baldwin actually done if he didn't have to grapple with the fact that we had that bigotry still crippling our community?
That's my dog right there, y'all.
So if you want to talk about liberation, you better be ready to be uncomfortable. Cause that lap dance with Lucifer was above my pay grade, man.
I live for it.
But I rock with Lil Nas X, I'll tell you that much.
I live for every bit of it. That in the shower scene.
Now listen, don't tell nobody. Now, I've been going through some stuff, James. But I think I done learned it. I think I got the shower scene down, man. Jada like it. That's all that mattered to me. Take us to break, James. I don't know what we got
get
going
your man,
next.
Jada.
But this is the best place for us to take 5. Because I think we done said all we need to say for this segment. We're going to come back with some more news, politics, and more. Like it or not, we'll be back right after this.
Yes, sir. Throwback jam for being y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up on Like It or Not. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat room, man. Y'all.
You can call me princess. You can call me goddess or a god, whichever one. Give you some, the revel on. Throw it back, depending on what level you want. If I give you my handle, then you can handle these handles. And you can call me the Pope with no Olivia scandal. And after we done, you'll put my face on your mantle. Call up your friends and those plans will be canceled. Turn up the music, it's about to get loud. Get loud.
Sassy Jazzy, good morning.
Crank that shit up, it's about to go down. Go down.
And a hard good morning.
Say with it in your face. Did you hear me the first first time is what he said.
All right, y'all, real quick, we're going to get some of our patrons read off. Our new patrons and some comments.
All this booty, you a lucky man, so you need to count your blessings. I'ma take the beat out of this, so take these lessons. I can tell that you like it from your expressions. I'm always clean, no need to freshen.
She was saying a whole lot of stuff. I'm like, I haven't really heard that song. Listen to that song like that, huh? Anywho, y'all, our new patron subscribers. We have Magdalene M, Saida A, Sun Queen, and Jason H. Our new Twitch subscribers, we have Political Puppy, who subscribed. Welcome. Night Fire TV, who subscribed. Sunshine Ray subscribed for 6 months. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. Damn Tune resubscribed and says, love you all and thanks for all you do. They've been subscribed for over 6 months now. Pumpkin Eyes resubscribed and they've been subscribed for 9 months. Sammy Lynn the Kind Dragon resubscribed. When there are 15 resubscribed and I've been usually over at YouTube. Want to support this stream too. Thank you for that. Jam Tune gifted a subscription to Superfly Trans Guy. Love that freaking name. That's awesome. Pumpkin Eyes gifted 5 community subscriptions. And Mimosa Dragon gifted 2 community subscriptions, man. Thank y'all so much. Greatly appreciate y'all. And then also, make sure I save that one for tomorrow. Send me Lynn the Con Dragon. I got you. Okay? I got you. Make sure that you send me a message tomorrow, okay? Yep, I got you. All right, cool. Jam 2 also said, all of this, friends, is just the United Snakes going mask off. None of this is actually new. They've been doing this stuff and getting away with it. They are just caught on camera and sent through the interwebs now, or so we see it. None of this is new. You are absolutely right, Jam 2. Facebook, Judy Man, my goal is life. Judy Man said, my goal in life is to be as happy as DJ is. Oh, I appreciate that, Judy. I appreciate you. Dekar Howard sent 50 stars as well, too. So we greatly appreciate y'all, man, for everything that y'all do, for all the love that you show. So we greatly appreciate y'all. And before I get back to it, y'all know what I have to do right now. So let's see where we gonna go. Okay. That might be a good one. Oh, man. I forgot to tell y'all something. So I don't know if y'all know or not, I wear hearing aids sometimes, so it just depends. So like 3 weeks ago, I sent my hearing aids in for repair. I've heard nothing since. Hey, and also, Ben and Dwayne, hey, what did the carpenter say when he finished building this house? I don't know. Nailed it.
I hate you, James.
You love me. It's okay. You love me. It's all right. I know.
Who said it in the chat room? They said Ben mad because James' friends zoned him. How about that? Man, them friends zoned me, and now he's sitting here on my show.
Nice.
I apologize for those of you who have no idea what just happened. That was an inside joke. For more, you should become a patron. Patreon.com/like it or not, or patreon.com/The Benjamin Dixon Show, or whatever my handle is. I digress. I'm going to let, because we're flying free today. Rebecca's not here to keep us under
control.
Not that she does that.
Right.
But that said, I mean, the news is triggering. And I want to be clear about something. I make no apologies about our unrequited joy, right? To be quite honest with you, we got nothing to laugh about.
Right.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
But y'all don't want us to be as serious as we really can be. So therefore,
there'll be a lot of cuss words.
Play that thing, man.
does
I
it?
tell you what.
Every time I hear this, I think of Jen Psaki.
No, what you're not not going to do.
She's coming too.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What you're not going to do is put me in a fight with the Biden administration. Yeah.
They can fight me. Hold on. Wait. Give me 2 seconds.
Me too, dog. Pull up, shawty.
Where that video go?
Whatever transpires from this point.
Yeah, let me get a disclaimer. The video and audio you are about to see and hear is not brought to you by the Benjamin Dixon Show. This is a hard audible called by me.
Man, you better not get fired this morning. What you got, man?
Oh, where'd the video go?
Oh
see,
man.
This is what happens when you have a team that you can trust.
Right.
No! No, stop it.
Thank y'all for joining.
Stop it.
Like it or not, we will see y'all tomorrow.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Jen Psaki in the college days.
All right, see, I have to give context, right? See, no matter what y'all throw at me this morning, I am going to be able to contextualize it for the moment. Because this is what I trained for.
That sounds like a challenge, David and Dwayne. That sounds like a challenge. Ooh.
This is what I trained for. What you're not going to do is throw me off course when we're this close, James. We are this close to getting them people to really trust us.
So for the listening audience, the soundbite is from a music video that went viral that we played in the after party, and the visual was Jen Psaki in her press conferences.
Right. So we're going to separate the two. Because perhaps the way I have to contextualize this moment is to say that there is a game afoot. And the best way to demonstrate the absurdity of it, perhaps, is the clip of the young white thug rapper. I don't know how she refers to herself.
I don't know if we have that.
No, y'all not going to put me out here by myself. And
I didn't do any of this.
Okay, listen.
Dwayne, I hope you have it.
Listen. Y'all threw it out there. Now go get it. All right.
Because the white thug rapper. What?
Watch the juxtaposition. Play with it.
Thug rapper.
Watch the juxtaposition.
I don't care, you think I'm dumb. I don't care, you think I'm scum. I don't care, bitch, I make my money.
Hey.
Party till I die with my chick. Come on, come back. Twerk like it's my last day on this earth. Let that dollar make her work. In my street like the slaves. Bitches always kiss my feet. You will have to kill me to
Wait,
me
did you say
stop.
in the streets like the slaves?
You can hurt me only God. Party till I die with my chin up high. Come on, come back.
Enough. All right, stop it.
Twerk like it's my last day on this earth.
That's enough. Now, all right. I'm going to show you. I got to demonstrate something here, man. Because
here we go.
I am required by the laws of nature and the universe to make sense of this all. Y'all done throw me in the deep end, so we're going to do this together, all right? Now, David, I have no idea the context of this next clip that involves Jen Psaki, so I have no idea how I'm going to tie this together. But since y'all expose
oh my gosh.
Since y'all expose how freeform this show really is, David, come.
Oh boy.
Let us reason together. What is this? What is this clip from Jen Psaki?
So we're making a really hard transition here. I'm gonna thank Dwayne on the back end for this.
No problem.
We've been ignoring to some degree the vaccine apartheid. So this first clip is the Biden administration trying to pretend like they're doing their good deeds for the world. That's Lion Zero, Dwayne. Lion Zero.
Mm-hmm. Flesh and blood.
The United States is buying another 500 million doses of Pfizer to donate to low and middle income countries around the world. All be shipped by this time next year.
We're now donating 3 shots globally for every 1 shot we've put in the arm of an American.
So before we try to connect, Jen, unless you really want to do that.
No, because I need the record to reflect that we're in this ship together. This is not a monster of my creation. So whatever follows here, we either rise as a team in this moment.
So pushing this forward, the U.S. is donating vaccines, trying to claim that we're doing our part while we hoard the supply and, prepare for boosters when Africa is far, far, far behind, and much of the world is far behind. Roll Lion 1, and this is from the WHO and the larger community.
As a VAT in the African Union, we want to buy vaccines. We're not asking for donations. We want access to purchase. We call on those countries that have put restrictions on exports of vaccines as finished products, of ingredients. These restrictions are even more urgent for us today than intellectual property. An export ban lifted in the United States, in Japan, in China, in Korea. That will give us vaccines immediately.
As you know, WHO's global targets are to support every country to vaccinate at least 40% of its population by the end of this year. These 2 countries in Africa have reached the 40% target, the lowest of any region. That's not because African countries don't have the capacity or experience to roll out vaccines. More than 5.7 billion doses have been administered globally, but only 2% of those have been administered in Africa. The longer vaccine inequity persists, the more the virus will keep circulating and changing, and the higher the chances that more variants will emerge. It was to avoid this situation that WHO, Gavi, Sept, and UNICEF established COVAX last year. COVAX has faced several challenges, with manufacturers prioritizing bilateral deals and many high-income countries tying up the global supply.
It's funny, while Jen Psaki over there, y'all donating vaccines, the man says something real good right there. We don't want your donations. Open it up so we can purchase them. That's what I'm talking about. Flex on them.
Now,
it's almost too. Yeah, James. Because I could go and it'll all be said and done. But I think that there must be a little bit more here, David.
So one thing that wasn't mentioned that I do want to highlight, as they definitely want the supply chain opened and the exports open because that's the quickest way to do this. But the U.S. is not completely to blame here. Germany, I believe it's Germany, has been the biggest loggerhead in stopping the intellectual property from getting opened up and released.
Funny how that works. You got some media to that effect?
We've played it before. I don't have it today.
Okay, so let's grab that media. You put that in there for a reason. How do you feel that it affects the equation?
Because early on in the pandemic, you saw this heavy look at the big pharma, making profit off of the vaccines and everything, and at the same time, only this small portion of the world getting it. So while all of the countries want to make it look like they're donating and doing their part, you see this huge, huge chunk of the world missing out or falling far behind. And then, and at the same time, you see the wealthy countries upset that, they can't get back to normal. We're not going to get back to normal until we either share the vaccine or open up the exports, or do both, ideally.
Do both.
And can I enter into the consideration, the absurdity of Americans, or anywhere, I don't care, because this phenomenon is not only germane to the United States of America, but people who are a part of the anti-vax movement. Y'all are so ridiculous because people across the global South are doing their damnedest to get their hands on this vaccine. Black folks, I mean, if they really wanted to, use this to wipe us out, would not they have flooded Africa with it already? Can we not tee up the same clip again? Because while we could end this and kind of, do what Jesse DeSantis has given me spiritual license to do, which is to momentary and temporarily engage in a fleshy moment, kind of
I do have a juxtaposition.
A spectacle, if you would. Thank you, Jesse DeSantis, for the authorization to do that live. David, show us the juxtaposition.
So Dwayne, roll Lion 2, and this is while the world wants vaccines, this is America.
You want to wear snot on your face all day? Fine, you do you, boo. But don't force that non-science, satanic BS on our kids.
The wind that is blowing through the black people, through the white people, through the Chinese people, they are blowing through your veins.
These are demonic entities in all the school boards of all the United States of America. Go back to fucking medical school.
By putting masks on these kids' face, you can't identify any of them. Voting on this tells me you guys support sex trafficking.
The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the Federalist Papers, and also the Bible. And these guarantee my freedom and yours and our children's to breathe oxygen.
You dealt with sheep, now prepare yourself to deal with lions.
What you've done, you've poked the cubs.
And no one's gonna mess with our cubs.
And let me tell you something, go home tonight and take one of these spoons and put it on your vaccination spot. Guess what? It's going to stick to you.
Are you going to the state and asking where they got their science? If you're going to tell me the CDC, come on, guys.
Forcing our children to wear masks is nothing short of psychological child abuse on the altar of wokeness.
Do you have any idea what's in a vaccine? E. coli, pig blood, detergent.
This is not a joke. There are COVID camps.
Concentration camps were something that the Nazis did.
Your children and your children's children will be subjugated. They will be asked, have you been a good little Nazi? Hail Fauci!
God bless.
Well, now.
And before we go to break, I want to play something from our friend Drew Comments, I believe we're gonna. Not yet. Okay, go for it, Ben.
No. You continue. I'm not going. But we ain't going to break until we've dealt with this thing.
So let's play the Drew Comments before we get a strike on YouTube for false information like we have before. So Lion 3 is going to just put the facts out there on the vaccine.
Well, before you do that, because you gave reference to one of our inside stories, so let me contextualize. Now, our channel got taken down for a full week because we were debunking Donald Trump. But because we played a clip of Donald Trump's misinformation, our channel on YouTube got suspended. That's what you're referring to, right, David?
That is correct.
Okay, run the show.
I asked the doctors on stage what are the long-term effects of the vaccine, and not one of them could give me an answer. Never thought I'd see the day when the YOLO generation would care so much about long-term effects, but yo, no cap, I'ma keep it a bean. I ain't gonna hold you, no arms. Vaccines in general don't have delayed long-term effects. These ain't no different. 1 or 2 shots that induce a natural immune response ain't gonna come back to bite you years down the line. Any adverse effects that could happen will take place in the first 8 weeks, and even those are extremely rare. But you know those commercials where they be like, if you took this medication, then you may be entitled to compensation. Yeah, but those be for drugs that people use for extended periods of time. Not a vaccine that ain't do nothing but warn your immune system of a threat. Like if you drink 4 Locos at a party in 2010, you didn't start randomly throwing up 5 years later. Probably had a good time at that party though. First of all, mRNA and long term shouldn't even be in the same sense. Because mRNA is extremely fragile. Matter of fact, it's the only thing in this world more fragile than the male ego. Ain't no woman disagree with that. That's why Moderna stored at -4 degrees Fahrenheit and Pfizer stored at -94 degrees Fahrenheit in order to slow down the degradation process. Your body's sitting at about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which means getting one of these vaccines is like putting an ice cube on a Foreman grill or a grown man trying to use his wife's shower water. The mRNA is broke down after about 24 hours. Spike protein is gone after about 72 hours. Here for a good time, not a long time, baby. And during that good time, the mRNA has no way to escape the cell cytoplasm to the cell nucleus. So no, it cannot alter your DNA. It's too busy having its polyadenine tail shortened by exonucleases and the de-adenylation-dependent mRNA decay pathway. The nonsense-mediated decay pathway, and some other mechanisms I can't even pronounce yet. mRNA gonna stick around shorter than the dude who asked a woman what she brings to the table. Back in 2011, human trials took place on the mRNA platform in cancer patients. Them same folk doing just fine, many of them raising kids and paying child support. CDC has also recommended pregnant women get vaccinated so they can pass the antibodies on to their babies, like preschool for the immune system. What'll they think of next? So that's 30 years of research, 10 years of human data, best researchers from the whole world. I'm way more concerned about the long-term effects of COVID and them milk crates than I am about these vaccines. Man, go get y'all shot, man.
That's my dog.
We've not yet landed the ship, but this is a good place for me to plug that I had a chance to connect with Brother Andrew. And he's going to be joining us next week. We're trying to lock in the actual date because, James, you know, one of the things, while we are on a long tangent, we're on a long segue. Don't forget that I have the responsibility of connecting the with Jen Psaki, and we're going to do that. But on this tangent, I think we really have to address what's happening in the black community, man. I do understand black folks' hesitancy, but I really have to ask the question: who benefits from the misinformation that is drenched in our communities? I mean, there's so many black folks. Like, I can laugh a lot about folks from Make America Great Again. We can laugh about these evangelical pastors. We can laugh about their the Ron DeSantis, his anti-quarantine, moves. We could discuss all those things, but at the end of the day, man, it is incumbent upon us. I mean, we even had to talk about the Trinidadian testicular incident with Nicki Minaj and Joy-Ann Reid, right?
Testigate.
Testigate. My God, today. I'm trying, James. I'm trying to salvage this contract, man. That said, we have to speak about the culpability in our community. Now, perhaps it's a lack of knowledge, because we do know that the people perish because of lack of knowledge. So maybe a lot of us in the United States are not aware of how desperate the world is to get the vaccine. So can we now please play into evidence either that clip that we already had from the United Nations or whatever else you have, David, because I think it's time to tie this thing together.
So go back to Lion 1.
As a VAT in the African Union, we want to buy vaccines. We're not asking for donations. We want access to purchase. We call on those countries that have put restrictions on export of vaccines as finished products, of ingredients. These restrictions are even more urgent for us today than intellectual property. An export ban lifted in the United States, in Japan, in China, in Korea. That will give us vaccines immediately.
As you know, WHO's global targets are to support every country to vaccinate at least 40% of its population by the end of this year. These two countries in Africa have reached the 40% target, the lowest of any region. That's not because African countries don't have the capacity or experience to roll out vaccines. More than 5.7 billion doses have been administered globally, but only 2% of those have been administered in Africa. The longer vaccine inequity persists, the more the virus will keep circulating and changing, and the higher the chances that more variants will emerge. It was to avoid this situation that WHO, Gavi, CEPI, and UNICEF established COVAX last year. COVAX has faced several challenges, with manufacturers prioritizing bilateral deals and many high-income countries tying up the global supply.
Now, what I want to demonstrate is how you trust your team and the people that you're surrounded with. We got into these waters together. Y'all wanted to be silly. So here we are. But I do want to request comment. James, David, Dwayne, we have two absurdities on our hand. One, the American government saying that it's doing all it can. And again, David, thank you for the context. It's not just the United States. Globally, there is a dog and pony show that is feigning as though they are going to provide and have been providing the international community with the vaccines that they need. And we also have the absurdity of people in the United States of America going out of their way, I mean, literally dying to reject the vaccine. I offer it on the floor to everyone in the ship. So
the only thing that I kept thinking the whole time, like, we was joking, having fun, but when the clip, the WHO clip played, was this is just the newest genocide. If you look at the places that can't get that they're not allowing to get the vaccines that they need, it's the places that have the most natural resources. It's the so these countries that are controlling the vaccine and controlling the money, they're like, okay, we'll give them a little bit, but not enough to make sure everybody stays. So then it's easier for us to go in and take what we need, take what we want. That's all I kept thinking, and it's sad, man. And then you look at the American the clip of all the clear people. It's just they're stupid, man. It's like
the absurdity of it all, right?
It just doesn't.
I refuse to claim them, by the way.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, man. And then like if they were even a little smart, they would see that the first point, like it's genocide. It doesn't make sense, man.
They would see their own self-destruction in their words. They're advocating. I want to play that clip one more time, and we have 9 minutes, and it's the Benjamin Dixon show. So we can do, and like it or not, by the way, because Rebecca's not here, don't mean I don't recognize the segment.
And she just pulled up in the comments too. She came
Queen
to check.
Azor. Queen Azor, we appreciate you. Cue up again the absurdity, because this is what the people are advocating for. Because are we not clear? Do we all agree that folks are dying from this pandemic to the tune of 700,000? And Ron DeSantis, as we said it earlier in the show, he wants to not only not allow you to wear a mask or not allow you to get have a vaccine mandate, but he also wants you to go back to school. And oh, by the way, you can't quarantine your children. They are literally doing everything that they can to maximize the deaths. Am I being hyperbolic here? Or does anyone else see that?
I don't necessarily think it's to maximize the deaths. I think it's in order to maximize their pockets, because see, every piece of equipment, every piece of vaccine, every piece of medicine, that's all money. It's going somewhere. Like, what's your boy name? Whose wife has stock in the ventilators or something. It's not maximizing deaths. Like I said, they're running up money. They're trying to get this money.
Rand Paul. You all do know we need the Benjamin Rush Society clip now. Thank you. Continue, James.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
One second, man. You guys are making us work.
We got this. We got out here together. James, you're making a fascinating point.
Yeah, that's all it is. Like I said, Ben, it's not maximizing deaths. They want money. So the more people that die, the more money they make. Somewhere or another, they're going to get money from some facet of somewhere. Somebody in the chat room said it best. Hey, such, the ivermectin, whoever invented it. Hey, I'm broke as hell. Tell Tucker Carlson that I need to start pushing ivermectin as a drug to use. It's all a ploy. It's all money, because they know they're going to lose money during the COVID. During COVID, they know they were losing money, so they had to come up with any means necessary to make their bottom line and stay in the black.
I ain't got nothing to add. Facts. Or rather, no, the appropriate thing at this part is something my sister taught me I should do. That part. So, folks, we have in front of us, somebody is making money off of the suffering of this present moment. It's just clear as day.
And sorry, Ben. What's even sadder is the people that's making money off of it, the people that's out here pushing it, like these people in these dumbass people in this clip, they not even benefiting from it. They lining other people's pockets, and they don't even know it. They don't even realize it. They just going on with this with the narrative that is pushed to them by the people that's making the fucking money. Excuse my language.
Hey, my mama is watching,
sorry. Yeah,
man.
I'm sorry, Mama Dixon. But I got a little upset. But yeah, they not even benefiting from it, and they too stupid to realize it.
Yeah.
Can you play that clip one more time, because we got to deal with the thing, because these people are representing themselves as if they are voices of the Lord thy God, right? Listen to their language and what they have tied and they have blamed on the God that they claim is the God of the universe. They're saying literally, we want you to allow us to do things to you that will get you and your children killed. I might be a little bombastic, but that's how I read it. Let's play that clip again, Dwayne.
You want to wear snot on your face all day? Fine, you do you, boo. But don't force that non-science, satanic BS on our kids.
The wind that is blowing through the black people, through the white people, through the Chinese people, they are blowing through your veins.
These are demonic entities in all the school boards of all the United States of America. Go back to fucking medical school.
By putting masks on these kids' face, you can't identify any of them. Voting on this tells me you guys support sex trafficking.
The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the Federalist Papers, and also the Bible. And these guarantee my freedom and yours and our children's to breathe oxygen.
You dealt with sheep, now prepare yourself to deal with lions.
What you've done, you've poked the cubs.
And no one's gonna mess with our cubs. And let me tell you something. Go home tonight and take one of these spoons and put it on your vaccination spot. Guess what? It's going to stick to you.
Are you going to the state and asking where they got their science? If you're going to tell me the CDC, come on, guys.
Forcing our children to wear masks is nothing short of psychological child abuse on the altar of wokeness.
Do you have any idea what's in a vaccine? E. coli, pig blood, detergent.
This is not a joke. There are COVID camps. Concentration camps were something that the Nazis did.
Your children and your children's children will be subjugated. They will be asked, have you been a good little Nazi? Hail Fauci!
God bless.
Listen, James, I have no idea if I can even tie this together at this point. We got 5 minutes. No, we got 4 minutes before we head to the after party. Maybe it doesn't get tied together until the after party. I have no idea. But patreon.com/like it or not. James, we are in the middle of a spectacle that is being funded. Make no mistakes about it. Thank you for bringing up ivermectin, because you do not get Fox News along with some independent media voices and the entire Republican infrastructure all of a sudden talking about ivermectin if it is not directly tied to someone's profit. Right? Mm-hmm. So thank you for bringing that into the conversation. At the end of the day, we are suffering at the hands of a spectacle that is causing confusion in a moment that we should be clear. Who's Georgia? Georgia said it on the clock. She said this is a moment that the world is going to be writing about for forever. Because we are. My pastor said, Pastor Daly, he said this is almost biblical. He didn't say almost. He said that this is biblical. We're almost at 700,000 people dead. And we have the loudest and the most vocalist people in the country right now advocating for more death. We got 2 minutes. Anybody have anything else to enter into consideration before we get out of here? Patreon.com/like it or not. We're not going to definitely not be this serious in the after party. But that said, I think it is worthwhile mentioning that it has also infected the black community. And there are people who are dying because they have bought into this. And I think some of the linchpin of how they've bought into this, James and David, is that religious language. The religious jargon. They're trying to make it seem like because you should be afraid of this because this is the mark of the beast. And they keep representing as if they really that they speak on behalf of God. And I think that's one of the reasons a lot of people fall for this.
You know, I think that in the black community, it's time to get to the root cause of everything, and that's dealing with, like Joy Reid said, and I mean I felt like this already, is it's embedded in us, because history has shown us that the government doesn't care about us. So when it comes to giving a vaccine, or you saying something that you want me to take something that's going to protect my life, I have a hard time believing it, because we saw what you did to a whole lot of experiments that you've all done on us, on black people, to see what would happen. So it needs to start there. That needs to be addressed first and then move on, because that key part right there, that definitely didn't help the situation. So now you have all these people spewing these anti-vax rumors and lies, and people not doing their research and having swollen testicles that we're not doing what we need to do. And I would love it if we had people out there canvassing the streets, man. I've been thinking about doing it myself. Like, go knock on people's door. Let's canvass these neighborhoods, canvass your community, and say, hey, have you gotten your vaccine? Okay, if you have not, then what's not, not getting your business, what's the reason? And if you want to know if you're interested in, here's a flyer. Read up on it. Just make sure that you know. We want you to be safe. We want you to be protected. We don't want you to be out here 6 feet under.
So they did that in Alabama. Go ahead, Dwayne.
So I was two things. So at this point now, the COVID vaccine is, and I'm not a scientist, I haven't looked at the numbers, is probably one of the most widely distributed vaccines in the history of the world. So the side effects thing, that's kind of out the window, because it's been tested more than vaccines people are getting every single day. So that's one thing. Second thing, and I probably shouldn't even say this because this could a whole bigger conversation, but when you was talking about the religious aspect of it, from the history of the world, it's not even really the money, in my opinion. It's whoever controlled religion controlled the world. And we as black people, we were kind of this white man's religion, and I hate to even put it that way, was forced on us from the beginning.
Brother, don't hesitate, please. Extrapolate.
That's just it. Like that's all. The example I keep thinking of is the Book of Eli. You remember the movie The Book of Eli when my man
Denzel.
The biggest thing, he was, I gotta get the Bible, because I know if I get the Bible and I can control these people's minds through religion, I can get whatever I want. And that's so.
Well, I do see how this is going to dovetail, but because we're out of time, Patreon.
Filibuster for like 30 seconds.
What's that now for 30 seconds?
We're getting a clip to Dwayne. So tomorrow is the patron party.
Patron party tomorrow. We're going to adhere to the time. We're on to something here, because there are people who are benefiting from the misinformation that our community is suffering from. I do know one of the culprits is none other than Robert Kennedy Jr., heir to the Kennedy empire. He has a vested interest in the misinformation that occurs in the black community. But we still are, I do believe we're going to take care of this in the after party. Patreon.com/like it or not. You get access to it. That said, I don't want to leave this segment without referencing a couple of people. Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, the black woman who helped develop the vaccine. If you're doing your research, do that research. Okay? Now, also, the clip that we have already played twice, and while I'm tempted to play it again, we're out of time, from the World Health Organization, that shows you that African nations are doing everything they can possibly do to get their hands on the vaccine. Take a look at what's happening in India. The global south is being decimated because the international community is pretending as though they're going to do something for them, but they're withholding the vaccine. And here we are in the spectacle of people making it seem as if the vaccine is the mark of the beast. And they're getting away with it because they say they come in the name of the Lord. To be continued. DJ Exclusive, take it from here. We're going to the after party, and I think we're going to crack the case there. Patreon.com/like it or not. We'll be back right after this.
Oftentimes, we give ourselves the acknowledgement that we need, but I'm going to do it for you. You are beautiful, inside and out. You are courageous, you are smart, and you will stick up for someone even if they're not in the room. Your aura is beautiful. Your light shines even when your eyes are closed. You are beautiful from your hair follicles to your toenails. I love you. And this world is a brighter place because you are living and walking around it. Have a beautiful day. Love you. Bye.
She did that. Shout out to Rebecca for sending that in, y'all. Man, make sure that you, if not already, patreon.com/likeitordnot, patreon.com/likeitordnot. Go ahead and get access to the patron parties tomorrow and access to the after party, y'all. Make sure y'all stay tuned. If you're not coming to the after party, we will see y'all tomorrow. And make sure y'all go check out our brother Pascal. And guess I'll leave y'all with another season 2 banger. Okay, here we go. Shout out Mara Sharice in the chat. Love you, Mara. Nat, hey, love you too, sister. Hollywood. I mean, good morning.
And I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so. They like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they busted your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my checking them bank. They see the number. All of my haters feel one of two ways. Really upset or they show some respect. I can't even think about it. I've been up, so read about it. No beat around it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it. We'll never see it when I get my feet up. 100 meters where I run the fee up. And go ka-ching and on a pia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay the feeder. And put it back into the bit, cause I don't really need it. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me. My attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I had to put all their egos in check. You're not entitled to anything else. I get 10 years of this under my belt. Your art isn't art, they don't feel it, and nobody hears it. Initiative stay on the shelf. Your ego done got in the way. It gotta die today. It gotta go. You should be happy I lighten the load. The weight of your arrogance, heavy as stone. I make an appearance, they already know. That chip on your shoulder gon' crumble and fold. Yeah, it's not a secret that you have been fearing the shit that I'm on. So you back to the brag and the boast. But I'm in a class of my own. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me. My attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check.
All right, y'all. If not if not today, we'll see y'all in the morning, y'all. After party. Let's get it. Let's go.
City of mine. How I love the city of